Este video está en español en el canal desde el 2017. Thank you, my friend, to click into this video. My name is Mario Ernesto and I am Upholstery. I have been working on this trade for a long time ago and I still learning. I learn every day. I learn something new. For those who haven't asked me for this video in English, I had this video since 2017, but it's in Spanish, 100% in Spanish. Some of you have been asked me for a subtitle in English. I don't know why, maybe because I was far away from the microphone, but when I add the CC function, subtitle, Google, it doesn't translate exactly what I was saying in Spanish, maybe because I was far away from the microphone. Here I am, my friend. I'm going to add a new audio, but this one will be in English. Let's dive in. Here I got the 2-bucket seat, as you can see right there. Those seats are easy. Why? Because it doesn't have a top stitch, it doesn't have a French stitch, and it doesn't have a piping. As you can see, this is the driving button cushion and it's all beat up and it is coming apart. That is normal because it is a driver seat. Before you start taking them apart, just pay attention how it is, put some mark on it. Sometimes the customer asks for the same design. When they ask for the same design, you don't have no option. You have to make it exactly like how the old cover it is. Sometimes customers are so flexible that you can change a little bit the design. I already taken apart one, as you can see right there. I removed the cover. I'm only going to show you how you can cut one and sew in one. The seat, it is easy to remove it. Just you have to know how. It comes with 4 clicks, but when the car is old, those clicks are toasted. You have to break it in order to take them apart. But don't worry if you break it. I will show you how you can put it back. This seat, because it is old, it is easy. The new seat, new BMW, have a lot of sensor, have a lot of different things. It's a little bit harder. Even to remove the seat out of the car, it is kind of, if you don't know how, you might scratch those plastic, you might scratch the paint. But this one, it is easy. When the cover is at a leather, the old cover, leather tended to shrink. So you have to correct the old cover first in case if you're going to use as a pattern. So make sure to correct it. If you are not going to use the cover, you are going to cut by the phone. Most of the time I do that, but this time I will use the old cover to cut the new one. So as you can see right there, there are those clicks, and you can see right there, I am using a plier, and those clicks are toasted. Most of the time, it will break. Even if you put a hot air, you use a heat gun to warm up, you will squish it and you will end and break it. So just be careful, don't worry about it. You can see right there, the back one have a screw. And that is how I'm going to put it back, with the screw. That's what I say. Don't worry about it if you break those clicks. I'm going to use this door panel click remover. It is so easy with this tool. If you don't have this tool, you can use a flat screwdriver. Just you have to separate the bottom cushion from the frame. That's it. And you're going to do the same thing. Just make pressure. Just be careful. Don't. If you see it is hard, if you make a lot of pressure on it, you might break, but not the top part. You might end up breaking the bottom plastic, and that would be not good. So I got this bottom cushion already. As you can see right there, that is a sensor. Just be careful. That is an airbag sensor. When the passenger side sit in there, that means in case of an accident, the airbag will explode. But if nobody is sit, in case of an accident, the airbag is not going to explode. So it is a sensor. Just be careful with that part. Don't scratch it, don't cut it, and it is not necessary to cut it. As you can see how it is. Now I am working on the backrest that shell. it comes with two screws. You have to remove it, and those screws are on the bottom. You see, I just removed those screws, and you can see that shell right there is loose. You just in some you have to pull it down, and other one you have to pull it up. Simple as that. Now to remove this cover, it is so easy. You can see it right there. This camera, it is old and look weird. You can see it right there. It looks so weird. So I have to remove the old cover from the frame, and the cover is right there with some this frame have like some tips, and you will make a hole on the cover, and you will put them inside with those tips. I am using right there, I am using a GoPro number 2, I think. That's what it looks so weird. And I even right now I still learn how to use the camera. Back then I was a rookie, I didn't have no idea how to film. And but the most important thing is I am showing you that idea, how you can make a BMW seat cover. Now I am removing the cover. It is easy. This process is easy. And because you have to remove that cover, there are some handrings that are holding that cover to the phone. You have to remove those handrings. You either one cutting. You have to cut it. That's the easy way how you can remove it. You need the old cover. No matter what, if you're going to use the old cover as a pattern, or you're going to cut it by the phone, you have to remove that cover. I am cutting the listing that is holding the cover to the phone. You will see how I cut everything, how I sew everything, and how I put it back. So just right now I am cutting. As you can see, my friend, I almost done removing this cover from the backrest, and it's done. So next I have to I need those wires. I am using a cut plier to cut those horn. You can use any cut plier to remove it. So I done removing the cover from the backrest. Now I'm going to remove the old cover from the bottom cushion. And you can see I am using a plier. I pull the material, and I by pulling I remove the cover from those that is plastic. Have like a little tips in you, and the cover is inside in there, and you have to remove it. And there it is, as you can see. I am not going to show you how you can remove this cover. I'm going to put a speed on it, because it is the same as removing the backrest. Cutting the staple, cutting handring. So now I am removing those wires, and that is done. So this part, my friend, it is so important. Put those marks in there. Why? Because when you are going to put in those pieces together, when you are sewing it, those marks will be guide you. Without those marks, the cover might be crooked and might look weird. So make sure to put a mark in there. Correct the cover if you have to correct it, especially if the leather have been trimmed. Make sure to correct it. So I'm just going to separate this cover. I need all those pieces. Why? Because I'm going to use the old cover as a pattern. And I am using a racing blade. You can use any utility knife to separate it. I am gonna stitch it. So I got one. And how you going to separate the other one? You can unstitch it, or you can cut it. Either way. See, I am unstitch it. It is easier to use the scissor and cutting, but I am showing you how you can do it. Okay, I already separate the top pieces and the side pieces, and I am not going to show you how to do the other one because I already showed you how to do one, but I need a center piece. If you have experience, you don't have to separate the center piece. If you don't have experience, you can cut it all by measuring. Get the measuring tape and you can cut it like that. I am going to cut the center piece, and you just have to measure the width and the length, and don't cut them exactly. Give it some extra. Why? Because you are going to trace it by the all later on. Even if you're going to trace it by the font, by the shape of the font, don't cut them exactly. Give it some extra. See, I am putting some mark. This is the backrest cover, and I am doing the same thing as I did with the bottom cushion. Putting some mark, and I am going to separate these pieces too. Same thing with the bottom cushion. I know there are a lot of expert subscribers to my channel. If you are one of those who are watching this video, you know the center piece, it is not necessary to unstitch it. You just can measure by the side of the font and cut it by the font. It is easier that way. But I am doing this way for those who never done a seat like this. This is the traditional way how you can do it, using the old cover as a pattern. Do the unstitches process. But when you have a long time working on this, you will find a way how you can cheat it on this process. So I got these two pieces. I need these two pieces to cut the new one. And by this I will cut the other side. It is not necessary to unstitch that piece because it is the same as the one that I just unstitched. I need this wire because I will use it back. Without that wire, it will be hard for you to make that cover get the shape of the font. The binder that I will use is this. I will use that binder. You can use leather, you can use fabric. Most of the BMW customer preferred leather, but some of them use vinyl, especially when they are like a little bit tight with money. They go with vinyl, and that vinyl stretch one side and the other one it doesn't stretch. So right here you can see me right there. I am using the measuring tape to cut the material that is going to be right there, the insert. So always I give you extra. You can see it, 1 inch extra on each side. You can give a little bit more. That was not a problem. It will be better for you if you are learning. But I understand maybe you don't have enough material and you have to cut everything exactly. I understand that part. I have been there, believe me. I have been there when I don't have enough material. Even I make a pattern when the seat cover. I mean, when the seat it doesn't have the old cover. The ruler, my friend, it is straight. It's the camera who make it look like if it is crooked, but the ruler is straight. Even you will see the seat and the backrest at the end look like crooked, but it's the camera. Pay attention to that ruler right now, and you will see look like crooked, but it's not. I was learning how to use the camera back there. So I am cutting and marking, drawing the center piece of this bottom cushion and backrest. And now draw a line. See the ruler? look like if it is crooked. It's funny. It's funny. I didn't know how to make a good setting on my camera, but now I know that part. 2020, I know that part. 2017, I didn't know, and I was learning. So now I have to find that distance from right here to the first stitch. You're going to do the same thing. If you are making a seat like this, seat cover like this, or a different seat. And now I am getting the side from the center. Same thing right here. I am making this one piece. Sometimes when you don't have enough leather, you have to make it on pieces. That way you don't waste like leather. Okay, and drawing those lines, those one are the bottom cushion insert. And I am going to do the same thing with the backrest insert. Why it is not necessary to use the all piece to cut that one? Because those pieces are straight. That's why I am not going to use the center insert to cut the new one. I just cutting by measurement. You know, when those pieces are not straight, you have to use the all pattern, or you can cut it by the shape of the font. I am putting those pieces on top because will be the same font on those pieces. I will add a 1/2 inch font on those pieces. Then the center piece will be 1/2 inch too. That's what I cut the big piece already, including those small pieces. Now I am putting the side pieces of the bottom cushion and backrest in there, just to make sure the amount of vinyl that I will use, because I will put the 1/4 of an inch thickness headliner, or you can use foam in there, just to use it as a backing. It is necessary to add a backing foam. All depend. Most of the time I add it, but on BMW it doesn't come with a foam on the side, except to you. I put it that way, except to you. And I am measuring the headrest material, because I will put a headliner in there too. Headliner foam, 1/4 of an inch thickness. And that's all the vinyl that I will use. So now I got the vinyl for the top piece, or the face, bottom cushion, and backrest, and I got the side, everything from the side. This is the headliner that I will use for the side. This is only for the side, 1/4 of an inch thickness. Sometimes you have to use it, and sometimes it is not necessary. What happens if you don't use if you don't put a phone as a backing? Well, to be honest, the cover might look the same. But if you add phone as a backing, the cover might last for longer, because we'll have support behind. And I am putting glue. If you don't have a glue gun, my friend, you have to put glue by hand. Applying glue by hand in there will take you longer. But if you don't have a glue gun, you don't have an option. See, I put glue on both sides. Now I just glue on that piece. Easy and faster. A lot of people do like as I do, gluing the vinyl to the foam and then they cut it. But some upholsterer, they cut the vinyl for all those pieces and then they put the phone on each piece. Both process are good. All depend how you used to cut. For me, this is faster. A lot of people tell me you waste phone, and I know I waste a little bit of phone by using this way. But a lot of people doing this way, my friend. A lot of people I haven't seen. I have been on a lot of upholstery shop, and they cut like this too. And a lot of people, the phone that they wasted, they take it to a special place when they can recycle. So nothing wasted, and create more job for those people who are working on the recycle. Now, after I put phone in there, I am using a pencil. You can use chalk, any marker, but never use a permanent marker to trace this piece. I am using the old one as a pattern. So I am tracing exactly like the old one. You're going to do the same thing if you are using the old one as a pattern. If you want to stitch, make sure to stretch it, the old piece. If you cut it, you know you have to give it like half inch extra for the seams allowance. So I got one piece already, and I'm going to cut one more piece the same, and the other one will be the opposite side. That's how it works. Now trace him in there. And you see, I just flip it over to keep marking the rest. Two will be the same, and the other two will be the same side but opposite. I got two. Now I have to cut 4 more. This is the bottom cushion side panel. The one where you see me just drawing before this was the backrest. I cut one, then I trace three more by this one. Put mark in there, and I got it right there. So simple, huh? So far so good. Those who are learning, if you are watching this video, these seats are the easier seat from BMW. And I am making a little bit different on the stitch, especially those stitches who go around. And here I am tracing the other two pieces. I am not going to show you how to cut the rest of the. This is the bottom cushion, side pieces. I am not going to show you how you can cut the backrest side pieces. You see me tracing them by the old one, and you just cut it. That's it. And I am throwing everything to my near my sewing machine. That way, after this, I'm going to jump into start sewing all those pieces. So I got the bottom cushion and the backrest already tracing, and this will be the face, the top pieces, and this will have a 1/2 inch thickness font. So, and I am trying to figure out how much material I will use it, and I am cutting right there. So this is a 1/2 inch font. It is a good font. I put them away, and now same thing as I did with the other pieces. I have to put font in there. I mean glue in there. I have to glue on that piece to the font, and I am using a pneumatic glue gun. The glue that I am using right there is Down Tab and Trim. That's the glue. I just put a little bit. I don't put it too much because I will put a stitch on top, and this piece, it doesn't have a corner, so it's flat, that part. When the ends is going to have like a special corner, you have to add a lot of glue That way the material will stick both folding vinyl will stick together, and you might have to pull it, or you might have to put glue to make that shape of the phone. That way you have to put a lot of glue when you have when the phone have like a big corner. So I trace all those pieces, and now I am cutting. You see, I am cutting the phone with the vinyl together. To do this, your scissors have to be sharp. Other way, you might create a blister on your hand, which one is not good. Always sharp your scissors, good enough to cut without making too much pressure on it. So I almost done cutting the centerpiece. Now I have to cut the I still cutting the top piece, but this will be the side, and this one are small pieces. But we'll have a half-inch too, half-inch thickness phone. And always put them on there, give it a half-inch extra for the seams, and put mark. Believe me, guys, when you have experience doing this kind of thing, marking there, especially on those pieces, and you have been working on car interior for a long time, you know marking there, it is not necessary, because are small pieces. But I put mark. I put one, and I put one more right there, and this one should have a I should cut one more like this, and I just flip it over and cut the other two. These pieces that I am cutting belong to the bottom cushion because they are small. The backrest, those pieces are a little bit bigger, and I just cut it. So now it is time to cut the backrest pieces, and you can see it's a little bit longer than the bottom cushion, and I'm going to put a waist on top and try to stretch as best as possible, because I don't want this piece to be like wrinkle, because I am using as a pattern, and putting those marks in there. I am using a yellow chalk. And there it is. I'm just going to cut it. Same thing as I did before. I should eliminate this part. I should show you just how you can cut one piece, sample the bottom cushion, and eliminate all the rest. But believe me, guys, if you don't have experience doing this upholstery, or you have been working on furniture your entire life, and you want to jump to the car interior, and you might be nervous, and I try to show you everything related to the process that I am working on it. I want you what I want is when you finish watching my video, I don't want to leave any doubt on you. That is the purpose of my video. That's why my videos are longer. Maybe if you have been working on this for a long time ago, you might know the whole process. Oh, he's cutting. After he's cutting, he will do this, and blah blah blah. You might find, like I said, boring, but if you are learning, the purpose of my video is giving you a whole idea about the job that I am showing you how to do it. I am cutting the back rest rest of the face top pieces, and I almost done cutting. Almost. It will be easy for me to show you how you can cut only one piece, right? The right of the left piece. Easy for me. But you might say, oh, how he cut the rest, or how he sewed the other piece, and you will start thinking. I will start creating doubt on you. And there are a lot of videos that I will show you everything because are easy. But on this one, I am showing you everything, my friend. And here are all those pieces in there. If you don't have experience sewing, cutting, make sure to do this, guy. Do this. Unstitch one piece, put a number on it. Number one. Number one go with number two. That means where you are sewing it. You see, I unstitch all those pieces and I am cutting all. And now I am going to sew all those pieces, because I have been doing this for a long time ago. But if you are learning, put number one, cut number one, cut number two, cut number three, all of those pieces, put a number on it, put a mark on it. And then when you're going to sew, you know you have to sew number one to number two, number three to number four, and like that. It's an example. Because you might get confused. Believe me, I used to get confused when I was making seeds at the beginning. I get so confused. Sometimes I put sewing the wrong pieces together, and what do? I go back to unstitch it. Sometimes I can reuse it. Sometimes I have to make a new one. You see, I'm putting a stitch right there. That stitch, guy, it is not necessary to put them on. Sometimes you have to sew in, especially when the material is stretched a lot. The purpose of the stitch is to keep the material on one side. I see I am putting those stitches in there. I know some of you might say, well, but original have it. Yes, original come with that stitch. I'm putting that stitch in there. The machine that I am using is a Council 226. It is a heavy duty sewing machine. If you don't have like industrial upholstery machine, and you try to do this in a regular like a cloth machine, like a heavy duty, those one though, like industrial machine, but for cloth, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Believe me, it's not gonna work. Why? Because you have a half-inch thickness foam. Then you have to sew the half-inch thickness foam with vinyl, with the quarter of an inch thickness foam plus the other piece of vinyl. So it will be thick. Believe me, it will be thick. And with the regular machine, you can't do that. That is a listing. It's a headliner listing. It's easy to buy a ready-made. If you cannot buy ready-made, you have to make it. The width of that listing is 3 inches. By going to take fold and fold is 3 inches. When you fold, it will be 1.5 inches. I'm going to take 1 inch, half inch with the stitch. That listing should be 1 inch at the end, and you can see right there. So I got one already, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. That stitch has to be straight, my friend. And this BMW, it doesn't have a heater. Sometimes when the BMW center piece have a heater, you have to sew the heater to that piece of vinyl right there. So take more time, but it's not a big deal. You can make it. If I can make it, why you cannot? So I done with one piece. A lot of people don't put that listing in there. A lot of people, when they sew the centerpiece, they just put that stitch on top and they don't put that listing. It is necessary that listing? Yeah, I will say yes, it is necessary that listing. A lot of people don't put that listing in there. They just put the site listing. This video was from 2017 when I upload to YouTube, but I was recorded long time before that when I recorded. I remember that scissor that I have it on there. Oh my god. I was working in a Mustang, then I forgot to take him out from the Mustang and it went in there. It went on under the carpet. I make a Mustang 1969 Mustang. I made the carpet, then the scissor went inside the carpet. I remember that. Then I switched to a Kyle scissor. Are way better than that one. Then I am sewing the bottom cushion. You're going to do the same with all the rest of the centerpiece. Sewing on top, put the listing under. You see how I put the listing in there? And I just get the listing in there, and I am making sure to see. Sometimes when if you don't have experience, or I notice some people hold that listing in there with glue and then they sew it. I don't hold it with glue because it's a small piece. Believe me, it's a small piece. I just as soon as I start sewing, I hold the listing all the way to the other end, holding it straight, and you can see it right there. It's done. Simple, huh? Okay. What is next? I got the other piece with the listing, and I got all these pieces right there. Okay, I'm going to start with the bottom cushion. Simple. Sewing this it is easy. So easy. Going to put a stitch right there. And you can put a stitch on the side too. But I'm not going to put a stitch on the side. I'm going to start sewing right there and taking ½ inch, because I give ½ inch as an extra for the seam. If you put mark, make sure to those notches match each other. If you put match. See, I start sewing. I am sewing the bottom cushion cover. Maybe I am not going to show you the whole process how you can sew. See, I got the phone right here, and now I put the piece that I just sewing in there and make sure fit well. If you see it's not fitting well, you might do something wrong. You might give it too much extra. You might give enough for the seam. What do you have to do? Fix it. Because I am working on the bottom cushion, I put a mark in there. You can see, I don't know if you can see that mark. Now you're going to start sewing. And right there. That mark, it is very important. That mark. You see, like 1 inch away from that stitch, I'm going to start putting listing, because I have to sink in that cover with hammering. I haven't put a lot of mark on my sewing machine. I show you something here. That stitch with the notch match, right? That notch in there, it doesn't match. Why? Because I put a stitch on the insert, and that make shrink a little bit, but that's not a big deal. Look, I put a notch in there, like half inch away from that stitch. The other side, it has to match. Make sure. If you don't make those such match, that cover might look weird. You see, I am making the notch in there. Perfect. That's all what I need. See, there is that match. The notch in there, both has to match. And that's all what you need. I put a listing under and I start sewing. And right here, that stitch, it has to match with the other notch. Right there, you can see it. Perfect right there. I cut the listing. That means this cover will look nice. All those notches match each other. So now, if you want to make sure what you just sewing and cutting fit into the, in this case, a cushion, you can put a cover on it. It is necessary to do it, but I am doing just the way you can see it. And that is the cover. It's not sunken yet, but that is simple. It doesn't have a top stitch on the side, French tip on the side, simple cover out of vinyl. So what is next? I'm going to sew the other one, but I am not going to show you. I'm going to sew the backrest and you will see that one. Same thing as I did before. If you check the bobbin of your sewing machine, that way you don't run out of thread in the middle of the sewing process, and I start sewing exactly as I did before. This is the backrest. Okay, I got one side. I'm going to do the other side. And I got the other side right there. Perfect. So next I'm going to sew this into the center piece, and let's do it. And you will do the same thing too. That mark is very important. I take it as a reference and I start sewing from right there, taking half inch. And I just saw a piece in the bottom part of this backrest. You didn't see me doing it, but it's easy. Just follow with the old cover as a reference. And I'm going to sew the other piece. I forgot to put the listing under. That way you see me going in reverse without sewing. So I put that 3 pieces with 1 stitch. A lot of people do it this way. I think all of the upholstery do it this way. 3 pieces with 1 stitch. Simple and easy. So I got this covered already sewing. So the next step will be take it to a table and see if the foam will need extra foam, extra padding. In case if it does, I will add it. If you are doing cutting table, you know most of the time you have to add at least half inch when you make a new cover. At least, even on the outside piece. The outside piece always get beat up, and that's what I did, half inch in there. Even the cover have a half inch, but it's better to do it that way. Right here, my friend, You might ask why I am putting this kind of stuff in there. Because the customer wants something soft in there. If I don't add it, that fiber in there or diagram as in there will be hard. Why? Because will be a half inch. By me adding that extra diagram in there will make it more comfortable, softener, and that's what the customer want in there. I know a lot of you have been doing car interior might say, well, why are you using that stuff in there? Just to make it feel comfortable. That's it. Make it feel comfortable. The customer have a problem with the have like a back pain, something like that. He suffer from that. So he asked me for that, and I am looking for the right wire that is going to be there. Always, you can do it manually. That is a hand ring manual hand ring plier, and that is the best option, my friend. In case if you can afford a pneumatic hand ring plier, do it manually. I put the center wire, the one water going across, and one is going to be holding on the top, the other is going to be holding on the bottom. A lot of people don't put this wire in there. Like I said before, they just hold the cover with the two-side wire. I'm going to use a pneumatic hand ring plier. That's easier and faster for me. If you have your own business, you know, the faster you finish a job, better it is. Of course, but if you work faster, make sure the quality come on the same. So after I done with those putting those two wires in there, I'm going to put the side wire in there. Just put it through the listing. If you put it, make sure to put them on place, because if it is too much up or too much down, you might notice the tip of the wire, and that will end up cutting the cover. Believe me, you as a upholsterer don't want that to happen to you, because the cotton will bring back the cover to you to fix it. Put the wire inside the listing, and now you just have to hold the cover. And I just holding one part. I'm going to hold the other part through the phone, and making sure that wire is even on both ends. And there is a specific hole on that phone. That hole means a hand ring will be in there. After you're done holding the cover with listing in there, now you have to mount in that cover. And if you cut it with the right extra and sewing, and you didn't have a problem sewing, I don't see why that cover is not going to fit well. I don't see why. But if you cut it with a lot of extra, you cut it shorter, you would end up having a problem with the cover. So as you see me before removing the old cover from right here, it's gonna be the same, but now you have to make a hole through the vinyl. That way, that hole, it has to get into the tip of this metal, has some spine, something like that. And you can see right there, I make a hole in there and I put one side. I'm going to do the same thing right there. When the scissors is sharp, you can make the hole cutting the vinyl and the foam, half-inch foam at the same time, and you're not gonna have a problem with that. You can use a punch hole, you can use tips, a pick just to make that hole. And the bottom cushion, it is different because it is plastic. You will see me how do I mount that cover to the bottom, through the frame or through the base. I know, my friend, maybe you are not seeing what I am doing right now, but the camera is not pointing to the right position. Sorry for that. I have been using a camera since 2005, but I never record like videos. What I was using for a different purpose. But so far so good, and I am showing you how I am giving you an idea. I hope, especially if you are learning, I hope you are with me, follow me in every little detail. Just remember, this is easier bucket seat. See, I'm using a pick just to make the hole. It is easier that way. I show you how you can make the hole with the scissor. There are so many different ways you can make the hole in there. Make sure no wrinkle on the side. If you have to pull it more, feel free to do it. If you have to pull it less, it's your choice. The most important thing right here, on the back, it doesn't matter if there are a lot of fold or a lot of wrinkle. A back shell is gonna cover that part. The problem will be if you have a wrinkle on the front or on the side. That would be a problem. Even if you are learning, that cover should look nice. Even if you are learning. Why? Because this cover, it is easier. It is easier to do it. Imagine if you are learning and this one give you a hard time. I understand some easy job for you who are learning might be hard. I understand that part. But easy job, try to do it nice. Try to spend time, because you are practicing. Let's put it this way. You are practicing doing upholstery in an easy job. Easy bottom cushion, even bucket seat. You are practicing. When a hard bucket seat is coming through your shop, that will be a challenge for you. But you already have been practicing doing upholstery in an easy seat, in an easy bucket seat, in an easy bench seat. I am putting the back shell in there. You can see the backrest. It look nice. It look nice. So this backrest is done. The bottom piece of this backrest, you can see the vinyl right there is loose, and the bottom cushion will go on top. So that part is done. Let's do this bottom cushion. This is easier to do it. And I am going to put this half inch on the top as a pattern. Always put a half inch on the bottom cushion, even especially when you made the whole cover new. That way the customer can feel the difference. And right there, half inch on top. You're going to cut around that. Okay, just going to make just 2 cuts right there. I am now going to cut the other part, listing in there, because the customer don't want that listing in there. If you see the cover, start ripping and start and stitch it from there. He don't want that listing in there. He just want the stitch. I did the same thing with the lean back. He didn't want it. He said, why he don't want it? Because his weight when he sit go in there. And he said, if you make it original like how it is, it will happen the same thing. And I tried to explain it to him that it's not going to happen because I'm not going to pull it too much. He said, no, don't put a listament there. That's why I don't put it. That's why I didn't cut the phone. And same thing as I did with the backrest. Putting those wires across. And same thing right here. Make sure the wire is even on both ends. Okay, I done holding that cord with hammering on the top. Now I start putting this cord. I always start from the front. You can see me right there, the front. Then I move to the back. And now I start rubbing that cover. You're going to do the same. Eliminate those wrinkles. How? By pulling, by adding extra foam, using a steamer, using iron, anything. If you use an iron for a cover, you have to know how to use it, because you might end up burning the cover, especially if it is a leather or a fabric. You see, before was with I am cheating on that part. I am putting a staple. Customer won't be able to see that part, and I am not making this way because the customer won't see it. No, that cover will look well done either way, original or this way. And you can see it right there, my friend. Beautiful. The cover can be out of leather, can be out of fabric, and this is vinyl. Okay, you can see that part is done. I made sure to roughing that way is okay. Now it is time to put this bottom cushion there, because when I remove it, I break those plastic clips that was holding the front part of this bottom cushion. Now I have to put it hold it with a screw. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. That part right there, you can use a drill bit. You can make a hole with drill bit and put the screw in there, or you can use those kind of screws that I made that hole by itself. I am using the screw gun, and one is done. You can see right there, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. So it is right there, and I am putting double screw. Just make sure to hold it strong. See that part in there? You will see me putting a screw right there. Okay, I don't know if you noticed, but when I tie the screw, that black plastic come a little bit more out. That means it is tight. So the back section of this, it was with the screw, and there it is, guys. This BMW 1997, the bucket seat are done. I just showed you one seat, how you can stitch it, cut them and sew it and put them on. I didn't show you how to make the headrest, but I will keep that on my for next video. I have some headrests on my channel in case if you want to have an idea how to make it. I cheat a little bit on this bucket seat, especially on the side stitch. I didn't make it original. It's hard to tell if you don't do car interior. It is hard to tell, but if you have been doing car interior, you notice that from a long time ago. As soon as I start sewing, because I didn't put the extra listing on the side stitch, but it look good. I make it this way. I explained the customer because the customer was looking for something cheaper, and first I show him leather. He say he don't have enough money for leather, and then he go with vinyl. But look great. If you see look like weird, I already explained you that before. The setting on my camera, I didn't know how to set him properly. Should be linear, and it was wide. That's what it looked like. That even if I put that ruler in there, the ruler might look crooked, by just the camera. Thank you, my friend, for watching this video. The purpose of this channel is just to give you an idea how you can make your own work. That is the purpose of my channel. This video was filmed at the end of 2016, and when I upload was in 2017 in Spanish. For those who were asking me about this video in English, here it is. I know the Spanish version is longer than this. I just cut some part that it wasn't necessary. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, feel free to do it. My name is Mario Ernesto and I am Upholstery. I have been doing this for a long time ago, but even if I doing this for a long time ago, I still learning every day. Like a lot of you have been doing car interior for a long time ago. We as upholstery, we never going to graduate from this trade. Why? Because we are learning something new. Okay, my friend, for those who were asking me for this video in English, here you have it. See you in the next video. Thank you.